We are so glad you are here. I'm Lillian Govis. I'm the communications director for Watershed, and I just want to welcome you all here. We've got some council members here who we need to recognize. Councilmember Archibong is here. She says to hold your applause, please. Councilmember Dickens. Councilmember Moore. We've got cabinet members here. Chief Labatt from the Office of Corrections. We've got William Johnson, the Deputy COO. Stephanie Stuckey-Benfield with the Office of Sustainability. Commissioner Fong from Parks and Recreation. Rhea Aiken, who is our Notify ATL woman on the scene. We've also got Paul Morris from the Beltline here. Radhika Fox with the U.S. Water Alliance. Jason Olseth with the Chattahoochee River Keeper. And then, of course, we have State Senator Nan Orrock here today. And so we'd like to welcome you all and to get us kicked off appropriately, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Commissioner Keisha Powell.
Thank you. The one that needs all the applause is our mayor. You have made my career. I can retire after this. This is a once-in-a-career time project, seriously, and I don't know many folks that would embark upon this risk to not only create a water supply that will serve the city for 100 years, become a major park in the city, the crown jewel of Commissioner Fong's portfolio, spur economic development for years to come, change the city's skyline, not just from the ground, but also when you fly into the city. This will be an iconic water feature in the city of Atlanta, and you'll know when you're arriving in Atlanta to the busiest airport in the world, because you'll see this reservoir from up above. Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to welcome you here, council members, cabinet members. We even have folks from the U.S. Government and Accountability Office. I'm so happy to have you all here. I'm like a kid in a candy store. We got a big toy to play with. I am coming back to drive it. And today we're here to announce the winning name. And if you see one of our special guests, I'm sure you have guessed what that name will be. Can any of you imagine a day without water? To put it in perspective for you, our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., only has a 36-hour water supply. The heart of our national security, where the White House is, Congress, and the Pentagon, only have a 36-hour water supply. If you think about that, and I'm from the D.C. area, it's surprising to me. But our project is designed to ensure that Atlanta has an abundant water supply in the event of a major crisis. And most recently, we announced that the state is, 2/3 of the state is under severe, or has been under severe drought conditions. So this is extremely timely, because we know that the effects of climate change will only make it more challenging in the future. And Atlanta is taking a proactive stance to avoid those types of issues while upgrading aging infrastructure. We provide drinking water, good quality drinking water, to more than 1.2 million people each and every day, including Coca-Cola's. I'm saying, that's why you drink it, right? It says filtered. The water supply program will increase Atlanta's backup water reserve from the current 3-day capacity to more than 30 days to 90 days of water. The Georgia Aquarium, not far from here, holds approximately 10 million gallons of water. And when we complete this project, we would be able to fill the Georgia Aquarium 24 times. Just to give you a few of our points of pride, this is going to be the deepest tunnel in Georgia. It'll be the first tunnel project to use the Envision sustainability framework from the Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure. furthering Mayor Reed's environmental commitment. We're also working toward LEED certification for the pump station here. And finally, it's the largest quarry to be converted into a raw water supply. Working under 2 consent decrees, we've been addressing our aging sewer infrastructure and have completed the first and received an extension on the second. We have the latitude to make these investments in our drinking water supply because of that vision. Atlanta's drinking water system dates back to 1875, and we still have original raw water pipelines dating back to 1893, so it's time for a new tunnel. Watershed management strives to ensure clean, safe drinking water so our community can thrive. And my executive staff here from Department of Watershed Management, I would be remiss if I didn't recognize them. They're working with me very hard every day to ensure that we are good stewards of these investments. So with that, I would like to introduce a man who needs no introduction, the visionary of the water supply program, over a $300 million investment in Atlanta's water future, Mayor Kasim Reed.
Isn't she good? That's so good. I love it when I don't have to work, you know. She carries it. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Isn't this nice?
Yeah.
You know, I really think this is what it's all about. You know, when you have the opportunity to be in public service, you really are in public service for moments like this. When would you have the opportunity to sit 100 yards down, I think it's 400 feet at the bottom of the quarry, and to do the right thing, not only for this generation, but for future generations? We will have a 30-day water supply, 90 days under different circumstances because of the decisions that are being made here today. I always want to start by just thanking the amazing partners that I'm fortunate to have on the Atlanta City Council. And I know that they've been mentioned, but I absolutely would never start a program like this without acknowledging Councilwoman Natalie Archibong. Please stand up and let everybody see you. And please make her feel welcome. Councilmember Andre Dickens, please stand up and let everybody see you. And Councilwoman Felicia Moore, please stand and please express your appreciation. I came out of the Georgia legislature, and I know Senator Nan Orrock knows you'll live a long, happy life treating your appropriators well. The ones that actually authorized the $300 million. So please give them a big round of applause. Certainly if you're a vendor. I want to welcome everyone here today as we get ready to announce the winner of the naming contest for our tunnel boring machine. Once we do that, we're going to turn this machine on, as Keisha said, and let it get to work. It will then begin the job of boring a 5-mile tunnel that will connect the quarry to the Chattahoochee River and the Hemp Hill Water Treatment Plant. Before I go further, I want to recognize some other folks who are with us today. I want to acknowledge my Chief of Staff, Candace Bird, who is here. Please give Candace a round of applause. And all of the members of my senior team. And while she's relatively new to Atlanta, I think Commissioner Powell has quickly earned the trust and respect of our city as she and her team carry out so much work that's critical to Atlanta's future. Will you all just give Keisha a round? I tell you, she's made my life so much more pleasant. Right, Ann? Goodness gracious. She's made council's life so much more. And she's made Natalie Archibong's life so much more pleasant. I want to recognize Ratika Fox, the CEO of the U.S. Water Alliance, for being here. And I want to acknowledge the Rockefeller Foundation. I don't know if Otis is in the house, but the folks from the Rockefeller Foundation were here this week as Atlanta was acknowledged as one of the 100 resilient cities by the Rockefeller Foundation. The Foundation's Resilient Cities grant to Atlanta recognizes our city's groundbreaking efforts to be sustainable and was helped along by this $300 million water supply project when we were applying to become one of those cities. When this reservoir is done and filled by the end of 2018, it will provide a 30-day supply of drinking water for 1.2 million people served by our Department of Watershed. It will be the largest quarry ever converted into a raw water supply in the United States of America. At 400 feet deep, the tunnel supplying the water will be the deepest tunnel in our state. It will also serve as a testament to the ingenuity of our strategically planned water conservation efforts. The reinvention of this quarry as a reservoir and as a surrounding park is one of the most creative land reclamation projects going on in the city of Atlanta and certainly in the Southeast. Now all we have to do is convince our federal partners not to make us put a gate around it. But I'll be working on that soon. Like the Atlanta Beltline, which runs close by here, we're taking old and unused infrastructure and turning it into something useful and vital that will serve generations to come and our neighbors who are close. With a capacity of 2.4 billion gallons of drinking water, the reservoir will be a tremendous asset for all of us. Our water supply is essential to our city's good health, both our physical health and our economic health. Our residents depend on it, and our economy depends on it. The readily available supply of water, an adequate supply of water, is vital to business continuing to choose Atlanta. Businesses, like people, must have water. One day without water in the city of Atlanta would cost us $100 million. That would be the impact on our businesses and the jobs that those businesses support. And that's why it was an easy decision for me, which was supported by council, to invest $300 million in this reservoir. The construction of this reservoir is a commitment by the city of Atlanta to ensure that our residents and businesses don't get blindsided by a drought or some other unforeseen event. I can see Rhea nodding her head. It's our responsibility to be prepared, and that's what today is all about. At the end of the day, this reservoir will create jobs, spark economic development, and help revitalize the entire area. It all starts today as we name this $11.5 million machine and put it to work. Our naming contest proved to be a popular one. We received 700 submissions to name this piece of equipment. A lot of them are really good candidates, like Peach Beast, which put up a strong competition. And then Scarlet was also strong and came in third. So the people of Atlanta were excited. But our winner definitely has a modern Atlanta ring to it. It's definitely hot with the hipsters. It's one that's indicative of all the tough digging work ahead. From here on out, this tunnel boring machine will be known as Driller Mike. A lot of people might have a Grammy or platinum record, but they don't have a boring machine named after them. And now we want to appreciate the contestant who suggested the name Driller Mike. Brian Schroeder is the Senior Director of Development and Marketing at the Georgia Conservancy. He's also an active and engaged Atlanta resident with a passion for Atlanta hip-hop artists like Killer Mike. I'm told Brian remembers where he was every time a new Dungeon Family album dropped. So one day I'm going to take you by the house where Dungeon Family actually is, where the dungeon actually is. It's off Cascade Road in Southwest Atlanta. It's Rico's mama's house. He sounds like a worthy winner to me. Please let's give Brian a huge round of applause for coming up with the winning name. Congratulations, Brian.
Brian Schroeder with the Georgia Conservancy.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I just want to say thank you to the city and to the mayor's office and to the watershed department. What a fantastic way to tell the story about what Atlanta's doing to protect its water future. And I also want to take an opportunity to recognize the city and the watershed department for investing in underserved communities from Proctor Creek to Peoplestown. I work for the Georgia Conservancy, and our motto is Georgia where people and the environment thrive. And I also want to recognize all the men and women in this circle, and let's give them a round of applause, because they go to work every single day to help take care of the lives of some of the most vulnerable people in our community. And they really deserve a lot of recognition, because when you're making people's lives better through civic infrastructure investment and making our natural resources better, that's a win-win for us and a win-win for the Georgia Conservancy. So my mama always said, Brian, one day you will have the opportunity to name a $5 million drill after your favorite rapper. So choose carefully. From where we're standing to the Chattahoochee River, it is not a pathway lined with precious stones. So we're not just naming this drill after any jewel runner. This is a grind. Mayor. Between us and the Chattahoochee River is metamorphic rock, igneous rock. It's filled with gneiss, granite, and schist, which reminds me of Killer Mike. Because just because he's a nice guy doesn't mean you can take it for granted.
Okay.
And don't give him any metamorphic rock. I practiced this. I wanted dad jokes. Quite honestly, this is one of the strangest and greatest honors of my life. In a very strange way, listening to Dungeon Family music and Outkast, and especially Killer Mike, and especially over the past few years, it is a music about carrying on. It's a music about the grind, and it's been an inspiration to me. And it took me 3 seconds to think of Driller Mike as the perfect name for this drill. So thank you, everyone who's involved. Thank you, Lillian, for helping to organize all this.
All right.
And without further ado,
With that,
We definitely going by the dungeon.
Senator Orak is here. With that, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce a Grady baby, to introduce a native Atlantan, to introduce a proud product of Collier Heights Elementary School, to introduce a good friend of Watershed, as he has been, to introduce a small business owner here in Atlanta, and to introduce my dad's favorite rapper, Michael Render, everyone. Killer Mike.
Good morning. I'm not a preacher, so I'm not that long-winded. But I'm a rapper, so and I'm from Atlanta. I'm from about 8 minutes that way. I'm from a neighborhood called Collier Heights in Adamsville. And a lot of my cousins went to Rice Street. We had to bond them out as kids. So I know this here. I knew how to get here pretty well. I have won a lot of trophies in my career. Amongst them are a Grammy, gold album, didn't quite get platinum, a lot of other trophies and stuff that hang on the walls and sit on mounts in my house. Never anything this big. So, and I do understand that, you know, growing up as a kid driving through the West Side, I remember asking my grandpa about a street called Tiger Flowers. And it was such a dope name to me. Dope is a good thing, not literal, guys. It was such a dope name. I remember asking my grandfather, like, who is Tiger Flowers? What is that? And he said it was a fighter. It turns out I read about him later. He's a great, you guys should Google and read about him, great middleweight fighter out of Georgia, one of the best ever. And I remember thinking when I was my kids' age, who are in the audience alongside my mother and wife, wearing these cool t-shirts my assistant got for us, thank you. What do I have to do to get a street named after me? I want it to be a part of my city. And I'm still working on that, possibly to get a street, seeing if I can do good works and deserve that. But this, I have to say, to the mayor, to Keisha Powell, to Brian, this is an honor. And I know it's, it's partly satirical and a joke, but I really, really am honored to be honored in any way by my city as a hip hop artist, because I know it's hard to honor sometimes because we have potty mouths. And I appreciate our mayor, I appreciate our city council, I appreciate our state legislators for being people of different creeds, races, colors, classes, and showing that truly Atlanta is an international place that works together. Deals were made 50, 60 years ago that have caused us to be a better city now. And deals are being made now that are going to cause us to be a better city. I don't ever want to cry for Atlanta like I've cried for places like Flint. I don't ever want to visit Atlanta and it be like some of the smaller third world countries I've visited. Water is a right. Clean water is a right that people deserve. And I am proud of the politicians and people of Atlanta for being willing to invest in that right, because this is an equitable distribution of water. Every neighborhood in Atlanta will have clean water. And I drink water out of the tap, so that matters to me. I'm proud of Atlanta because we will never talk about an underserved community. We'll never talk about water inequality or inequity. We will always talk from a place of power. And if our children can be healthy, they can be eating right, they can be drinking right, and we know they can do like my trainer's telling me, lose a little weight, stay a little active, live a little longer. So again, this is important. Thank you guys for having the foresight. Keisha, Kasim, Ryan, thank you for making me Driller Mike. I know, Brian, I know that naming anything after a man scares people because we ain't done the best job with the world. But what I do know is from my wife tells me in those kooky books she's read, there's an age of women coming and you should name things after women or it'll be bad luck. So our youngest daughter's name is Michael. So I would like to officially pass the baton today from Driller Mike to Driller Mikey. She's a dynamic 9-year-old. Her 14-year-old brother's also with her. She's shy, but she's the one with the Princess Leia buns. I brought them out because I want good luck for my city. So if you got bad luck with men, like a lot of my sisters and cousins, Driller Mikey is it. About a year ago, I had a problem with my water bill. I called my city councilman. I called my city councilman, a few city councilmen. I called you. I called Kwanzaa. Keisha, if I'd had your number, I'd been calling you. I'm trying to run a business. I'm spending jewelry money on rent. And I was introduced to Lillian of Watershed. And I must say that a lot of times meeting the people in the front of the camera, like we got a handsome mayor, he's very good. But I love that he recognizes his staff and the committees around him that make this city great. Lillian, I'd just like to ask you to come out and appreciate you for doing a great job as a young business owner, helping my wife and I get our Watershed stuff straight, helping us not have to pay the bill. And when I knew our heart was really gold is when she did me the favor of helping us understand the process and getting good and with the city so we could run a business. We have a small barbershop, 365 Edgewood Avenue, the swag shop. All of you guys are invited. I said, whatever you need, you got. Let me take you to dinner. Let me buy you a drink. Free haircuts for life. She said, I'd just like you to make a thank you video for the employees of Watershed. And that's what we did last Christmas for them. Thank you for being the person that we all aspire to be and helping others be the best they can be. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to get out of your way, but Brian, people tend to not see the validity in rap. People tend to not see the validity in black men. People tend to not see the validity in poor people. I have been all of those three from right there. And I think that is a testament to you and I, and my rap partner, who's also a white guy from Brooklyn, what this country and what this country and what this world could be. I think Atlanta does a very good job at managing them, and I think we're doing better. And I'd like to encourage us as gentrification happens to stay the city, not only too busy to hate, but too busy not to engage. Slow enough rather to engage each other in love. I want us to be slow enough to still speak to our neighbors. Slow enough that if your neighbor's water is off, you found out why, you help them get through it. I want us to take time to still say hello to each other in the streets. So what you did for me, Ryan, was that. It was being recognized by a neighbor, not just a guy who's a fan of my music. I appreciate you for being a part of Atlanta. I appreciate Atlanta for being the city that it is. I hope that we can inspire other cities. I love and respect you all, and I'll digress now to allow us to say this silly name for this wonderful machine that will provide so much good for this community. I love you guys very much. Thank you.